maybe when you ask somebody, how secure is your home? I don't know how many will say their homes are secure. But to me, most homes are not secure. Our children are not secure.
Many people fall victim of this. Usiku, umeenda kulala, umefunga mlango, but you've left the key on the door. Walk us through what can happen. You find that, when children are going back to school, they're private to go and do shopping. And some parents, because they believe in their children, give them money, unsupervised, and they go and do their shopping. Is that a risk? Hello and welcome back to the Crimeshield Podcast, where we keep it security every single day. Many of us have been wondering, how can you keep yourself safe at home? How can I keep my children safe and whatnot? So today we want to deep dive into a topic that resonates with all of us, and that is home security. And to take us through that is a lovely lady, Mary, who will tell us more about herself. And as we dissect this topic, hi Mary, how are you? Thanks
Hello.
for coming.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Mary, as you have been told. I'm a professional in security. I'm passionate about security. And I'm here to bring or to shed more light on issues of home security.
Wow.
Maybe when you ask somebody, how secure is your home? I don't know how many will say their homes are secure. But to me, most homes are not secure. Our children are not secure, may it be at home or even school. Because in the first place, I remember maybe everybody who has gone through school. In our times, there's a story we used to read about the giant and the girl. And the mother trained the girl to listen to her voice. And the giant learned of that. And the giant could come and call the girl.
Using the mother's voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the girl could say, that is not my mother's voice. Until one day, the giant went and tried, after a lot of practice, the giant started talking like the mother. So from that story, we learned that as a mother or as a parent, you need to train your children to learn to be secure.
Amazing.
When somebody comes to the gate, most estates, we don't have security guards. Most homes, maybe we cannot afford to employ watchmen unless you live in those
Posh areas.
where you can afford a watchman, you can
Yeah.
afford security. But we encourage people in that Nyumba Kumi, bring the issues of security, team up with your Nyumba Kumi people, and know how secure your estate is, starting with your home. If you have not installed security cameras, train your children to know when somebody knocks at the gate, do they run there to open the gate? Or do they first ask who is it? Do they recognize the voices? And with the new era we are in of the mobile phones, let whoever is coming to your home call and say, I'm at the gate.
Yes.
And you will call your children and tell them, so-and-so, auntie is at the gate. Open the gate. Don't let them all the time run to the gate and open. That is how our children are stolen. We've had many cases of children getting lost.
Yeah. It's becoming a very, very huge case. Yeah.
Yes. And most of them get lost within their neighborhood, their vicinity, close to where we are. But because I've not trained my children to know how to respond to even strangers. Somebody will come and call my child by the name. Maybe something like Christine. Yes. And you just follow. Because they know our children's names.
Yes.
But we've not trained our children that not everybody who calls you by your name is your friend. So let our children know that. Another thing, still in our homes, when we employ our house helps, our home managers, do you do orientation on them? Most of them come from rural areas. You're in an urban setup.
Yeah.
You're in an estate or a flat. There are so many houses there. Do we really care to do orientation? Or you just leave them, you tell the house manager, everything is there, the kitchen is this, the food is here.
This is
the bedroom.
Carry on.
Go on. I'll come back in the evening. That is what we do, most of us.
Yeah.
But you're leaving your children with a total stranger without caring how you'll find them. Somebody will just knock and tell them, Mama so-and-so sent me to pick Claire to take her to the salon. And your child disappears. Who do you blame? You don't blame your house help. Because your house help will tell you, there's a lady who came here and said you sent her.
Yeah.
And this girl is very new in town. So we need to do orientation on our house managers. Still,
Amazing.
yes.
Like, many people fall culprit wakati umeenda kuleta house manager ama mahali penye unaishi, like in Kenya most of the residents are in flats, so we have people who wale wa takataka wanaleta karatasi ya takataka, and wanaingia tu. When they come, you find that we do not actually realize that even hawkers, how can they protect themselves? As you mentioned, that children need to listen to the voice. They need to be some orientation with the house managers. They need to know who is supposed to be coming. Basically, what you're doing there is protecting movement on a need-to-go basis, so that you're not just opening your residence for total strangers. Because at the end of the day, you might end up losing your child simply because you did not tell your house manager on the do's and don'ts of the homestead, of the estate, and generally in the area where you live in. That's a very critical point. We were discussing earlier, and you brought up a very critical point about when parents, especially when schools are opening, when you're writing the name of your child on the sweater or the jacket. Tell us more about it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think that's another issue we need to discuss with parents. We feel that we are protecting our children when we write their names on their property, their items, the school bag, the uniform, the sweaters. But that is really a risky area, or that is very risky, because somebody will read the name of the child from very far. Somebody can call your baby or your child Mark or David or Peter because it is written on the bag. We always advise parents, yes, mark these clothes, because when they go to play, they get mixed up.
Yeah.
But mark on the inside part, or the inner part of the garment, the inner part of the bag, where a stranger cannot see or somebody else cannot notice. But when the child is looking for maybe the property, if they are mixed up, the child knows that my bag was marked inside near the pocket, my sweater was marked on the inner side. Because in that case, we protect them from predators.
Yeah.
Somebody will call and the child will be, when somebody calls you by your name, definitely this person knows me.
Yes.
But it is not always the case. Let them know that everybody who calls them by their name, it's not necessarily afraid. It's not necessarily that this person knows mommy, knows daddy, or is afraid of the family. No. Somebody could be reading what is on your sweater, what is on your jacket, what is on your bag. So for them to be safe, let us learn to mark the items of these children on the inner side. Amazing. So that we can keep them safe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you brought a very critical point on school. You find that, when children are going back to school, they're private to go and do shopping. And some parents, because they believe in their children, give them money unsupervised, and they go and do their shopping. Is that a risk?
Actually, I'll say it is a risk. In as much as we want them to be responsible, we are training them to be responsible children. We want them to go and do shopping. In fact, nowadays, we want them to go to the bank and pay. We give them money because we believe that you should learn the hard way. Most of us, during our times, we learned the hard way.
Yeah.
So we want them to learn the hard way. We are saying our children, we are bringing up in a very soft way, and this world is tough. We need to make them tough. So you want them to go pay in the bank, you want to give them money, they go and shop. But in most cases, they don't shop before they leave home. So they'll carry the money, they'll go and shop. You don't know what they have shopped for. So when they get to school, that is when during the frisking, you are called, you're told your child has this and this. And most parents, sometimes we resist. We refuse. We say, no, my child
cannot do this.
Cannot do that. My child cannot have drugs. He's not on drugs. But in most cases, try to find out the real cause. Because there's something called peer pressure. And that is the thing that is spoiling most children. Because of lack of self-esteem, they are looking for identity. They want to fit in those groups.
Yeah.
So if you go to school, you find there's a gang that is taking bangi or alcohol. You want to engage. And the next time, you tell your parents, I want money, I can go and do shopping. Because you want to go and do shopping what you want.
Yeah.
Not what your parent has been shopping for you.
Yeah.
Because you are in that gang, you are in that clique, you want to fit in that clique. So
Okay.
you'll go there. When you're shopping, you'll shop for wine, you'll shop for beer. They put them in soda bottles. Some of them, they know how to hide these drugs. Even somebody told me they used to cut a loaf of bread and then insert some
Alcohol.
some drugs inside
Drugs. Wow.
there, cigarette baggie and all that, and then it will be sealed so well. You will not even notice.
Professional
So,
surgeons.
in those schools where they do not engage expert with sniffer dogs,
Yes.
you will never know that this child is carrying drugs. You'll think
Wow.
this is just bread, this is toothpaste, this is this. But in little sense, inside that tube,
There's
you're calling
something.
toothpaste. There's so much. And in the evening, you'll find people are drunk, you'll find people are high, you're wondering what was in the githeri. And it's not really the githeri that is cooked in the school. But in little sense,
Yeah.
it is what these children carried from school. Another issue, when children go out during school outings, that
Yes.
is where they buy these things.
Or the school trips.
Yes, the trips.
Uh-huh.
And that is why the teacher need to be very careful. In most schools, you'll find that once they come back, when they are late from the bus, there's checking or frisking. Because you're carrying so many things into the school. They'll carry sweets, and in real sense, these are not sweet. They'll carry cans, and inside those cans, drugs. So most schools have that habit, and it is not really bad. We really encourage that. Because if you want to keep a school free from drugs, you have to be tough.
Exactly. And as you rightly...
It is not easy dealing with adolescents.
It is hard.
It is hard. And you have to stick to the rules of the school. I really admire those teachers or the head teachers who say that you have to follow the rules here. Because if you cannot abide by the rules, the best thing is you just take your child to another school
Yeah.
where there's no rule.
The school's way or the highway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about, what you've mentioned, charity begins at home. And most parents feel, for lack of a better word, they feel so much attached to the children, especially Generation Z, to the extent where, there are no set boundaries on what is supposed to be done. That is with regard to even using the phone, what kind of content they are exposed to. And you find that a lot of children get radicalized into some cultures that they don't know through peer pressure, just to fit in, as you put it. So adolescent age, and not just adolescent age, generally when people are young and they are in school, they are privy to a lot of information that can puts them into harm's way without them knowing, because they're getting inducted into some cultures slowly and steadily, to the extent whereby before they leave, their completion of their time in school, they are different people. So would you say rightfully that it's also the parents' responsibility to make sure that the kind of charity that we are talking about that starts from home can be carried into the school?
Yes, I really agree with you. Charity begins at home. And there's a statement that says, teach your child the way. And the child will grow in that way until even when they are grown up, they'll still remember. Because it's like we always tell people, if you take your child to Sunday school, even if at some point he'll be affected or she'll be affected by peer pressure, at one point that child will come back to the real thing. Because the child will remember what they were taught. The same case with the parent. If children know that their parents are strict on something, even if they do it, they know they are doing it, but they are doing the wrong thing. So at one point, they'll come back to their senses and they'll know this is the time to stop this.
Okay.
I have to stop this nonsense and move on. Because every parent wants the best for their children.
Okay.
And that is why you find that most parents, I heard some young people saying, my parent is always saying, don't do this, don't. The don't for the parents, there are very many, according to the youth.
Yeah.
But that is the best thing. Because if you hear a parent saying, don't do this, it has some consequences. And especially the issue of the mobile phones.
Yeah.
It's really inducting our youth to so many things. Most of the space there, because they don't have the knowledge,
Yeah.
they get and start chatting with people they don't know. They're inducted into many things, even radicalization of the youth.
Yeah.
But it is always the duty of the parent to know what their children are watching. If you have a mobile phone, because a parent will buy a mobile phone, and maybe the child is using in the evening. When you're busy in the kitchen, when you're busy doing your own things, you give that child a mobile phone. Trained to know what this child is watching. Because in most cases, they're inducted in things that we don't know. Also, we tell parents, if you have youth of adolescent age, sit them down. Teach them many things that they need to know. Don't let them get teachers outside there.
What do you think the parents should teach, ideally, when they're talking to both the boy child and the girl child? What topics can the parents do? Because that's safety and security as well. Because if your child knows that these things are happening, then you're able to tell them that, okay, you are supposed to make your decision at some point. But as long as you do A, B, C, D, this can work for you. But you go against it, then this will not work for you. So what are highlight just the topics that you think will be okay for parents to talk?
Okay, one topic that is important for parents to talk to, especially the youth, is about their safety and security. Because if you do not tell that youth that going out and coming back late can have consequences. You don't tell that youth going out with strangers you don't know will have consequences. Telling this youth driving without a license will have consequences. Not telling this youth drinking alcohol when you're under 18 or taking drugs will have consequences. You need to tell them these things so that even when they go for social gatherings, in most times you'll find they have parties with their friends.
Yeah.
But if this youth is aware of the consequences of those things, they'll not engage in them. They know if I take drugs, if I drive without a license, I'll get into trouble. They know if I go to this place, how is my security? Learn to know even their floods. In most cases, we let our children socialize with people we don't know.
Yeah.
And we learn of the floods when it is too late. When you find that you're being called by the police and you're told, we have students here in the cell, and one of them is your son. He has given us your contact. That is then when your security consciousness is awakened.
Yeah.
And in real sense, if you had told this child doing this is wrong, that one the child could have been very careful.
Yeah.
In most cases, our girls go out, but they are going with strangers, people you do not know. So try to tell these children, know the person that you're going out with. Know in case anything happens, how do I exit this place? Scan the environment. The parking lot, that's where people are marked in most cases.
Yeah.
Even in colleges. Those parking lots, you find yourself carrying your laptop on your way home, and then somebody
snatches
your laptop, somebody want to kill you, somebody want to rape you. So in most cases, avoid those dark areas. Avoid those isolated streets. Like in Nairobi, we always tell people, if you're going towards Kirinyaga Road and those chochoros, make sure it is even during the day people get mad.
Yeah.
So you're just there saying, watanifanyia nini? You know, you fight like you're so secure because you're told the police are allowed.
Yeah.
But the presence of police does not mean that you cannot be harmed. Yeah, that is why we tell people personal security is very important. To be aware of your own security is really very important.
Security starts with you.
It starts with you. You have to have that conscience of knowing how secure is this place. Sometimes I feel sorry for people when you go somewhere and you find young people and you're like, do they know what threats are surrounding them in this place? They're just comfortable. But the threats are very many.
Yeah.
I also feel bad when I'm going somewhere, maybe to a mall, or I'm going to a social place.
Yeah.
And even churches. And the people in front, you're told, we have to frisk you. And somebody say, what do you think I'm carrying? I have nothing. You will not search my car. You will not search me. I really feel sorry. And sometimes I turn back and go.
Yeah.
Because I feel I'm not secure.
Yeah.
If somebody does not want to be searched.
What are they hiding then?
What are they hiding there? And if you are in maybe more than 200 people in a place.
Yeah.
And there's no security in that place. Because at the gate, people refuse to be searched. in the first place. And they just walked in. So you never know what can happen. People can be armed. Somebody can be having a bomb there.
Yeah.
And you never know. But I really respect security guards. And I always tell people, when you see that soldier standing there, frisking you, that is his job.
Yes.
He's employed to do that. And you respect that because he's protecting you in the first place. He's trying to make sure that you are all safe. And if you were to take security as in you don't trust anybody in security, I will not trust you, you will not trust me.
Yeah.
Because you don't know my motive when I'm going there. I don't know your motive. So the best thing, let us follow the rules. Let us be strict and ensure that we are all safe.
You've brought a very critical point about churches and all these places that people go driving in and all that. So for you out there, when you see a guard who is asking to frisk you, you need to understand that one, it is their job, and also it is your job to cooperate with them. Because at the end of the day, if you are not carrying something, what about me? Probably I'm carrying something.
Yeah.
So if they're able to do that, pretty much it is a layer of protection just to safeguard you and also reassure you of the kind of measures that that particular premise is taking to make sure that the people in there are safe. We were talking about the items that, basically children carry from home. We want to surround ourselves with an ideology whereby charity always begins at home. What is this environment that parents create to make their children become a menace out there? Find that there are parents whose homesteads, there's some level of lawlessness, where the children are the ones who make the decisions of what to carry, what to do. What is your take on how parents should conduct themselves? Because at the end of the day, the children will be a replica of what the parents do at home. I'm talking about the house parties, young parents, on a bash, and you have your child there. The parties, you're exposing your children to people, drinking, smoking, and there's this shisha. They're called vape nowadays. They are packaged really well. You can think they're sweets, but at the end of the day, what kind of harm can they create? Your opinion on that?
Thank you very much. I think as parents, we need to know at what age we are exposing our children. If you really need to have a party at your home and you have friends who are drinking, partying, it's good to always consider the age of your children. And if possible, if you can hold that party outside the home, the better. Because if you expose your children at that age, when they go to school, they'll start those, what they were seeing. Children are very good at copying or imitating. They will imitate what they were seeing. And in most cases, the teacher will call you and ask you,
unafanya nini nyumbani?
Yeah. But I've had another incident where one of the presenter was asking another child. There was a social function somewhere, and the child was asked, "Who taught you how to dance like this?" "Mommy." So, in as much as the child will be asked and say the parent, you cannot deny.
Yeah.
In as much as it is embarrassing. Because we bring people to our homes, they do all those parties. Some of them even abuse our children.
Can you imagine?
Under our roof. And we are not aware. You have young girls in the house, but there are people who are doing their parties there, but you're bringing insecurity to your home, to your own children. So if you have to do all those things, maybe you can go and do them outside and let the children grow. When they get to that age, they'll decide what they want to do for themselves. Because at that age, their mind is getting almost everything.
Yeah.
They are learning so fast, and they want to move with the times. So if you show them those are the times, they really move with the times. So let us learn to protect them. Let them learn, grow, and make their own decisions when the time is ripe for them to make their decisions. That is what I can say.
It's quite important for parents out there to understand the criticality with respect to what and who they bring into their dwelling house, because we've seen instances of defilement, cases in court of a defilement, and the key in defilement is usually the people close or known to the person. So it is very important for parents out there to understand that the people they bring into their homestead and the activities that are seen into the homestead pretty much will affect the children who are at the home. We're talking about the house managers and how to induct them into the home settings. What are the highlights that probably you might say, people in a dwelling house who have a house manager could do with respect to inducting them into their homestead? What are the things that probably, as you mentioned, most of the house managers who come probably have not been exposed into that kind of environment? What are the things that you think we can highlight as a parents just to enhance the security of their homes?
Okay, that's a very good question, because in most cases, I think house managers are the ones who interact with the children so much.
Okay.
Because especially nowadays, when you have parents working from 8 to 5, the earliest you leave the house, maybe it's before 6 or before 7.
Yeah.
And then you come back at 7. So most of the hours, that child, if the child is not in school, that child is with the house manager. And once we employ our house managers, especially, I'm talking this especially to the women.
Yeah.
Because this is a women business, not a men business.
There are no house managers who are men?
But
rarely.
Who has that responsibility of employing
the women?
Employing the house manager? It's the women.
Okay.
So as a woman, when I employ a house manager, I've brought a total stranger in my house. I'm supposed to first of all know, where does this person come from? I should have the identification card of this person. Most people don't have. That's why you find house helps eloping with children things, and starting to ask for ransom. Because they know you have money and you don't have the identification. So they'll team up with thugs and start asking for money. Have even a copy of the ID. You know, the best thing with an identification card, it has the details of where you come from.
Yeah.
So people will always contact your chief, and they will come up to your doorstep where you come from. But if you don't have any identification, I can come and tell you I'm Akinyi. How many Akinyis do we have in Kenya?
Many.
Very many. Most people are using pet names, even house helps. So make sure you have an identification card for that person. And then when the person gets to your house, you're supposed to have rules and regulations. You just don't operate randomly. To let her do what she feels is good. After all, she has been a house help in another place. But you don't know how that place was operating.
Okay.
Tell her, at my home, I like things being done this way and that way. My children, maybe will wake up at this time and this. Orientate her step by step. You know, learning is gradual.
Yeah, it's gradual.
So let this house help know the members of that family.
Okay.
Start with the nuclear. If there are relatives staying there, let the house help know them. If there are regular visitors there who are relatives, let her know them. Because we've had cases of people coming, knocking, saying, we are in-laws from Mashambani. The house help entertain them. Of course, ukisikia hawa ni in-laws wa mdos, you cook for them, you do all those things. At the end of the day, they tie her and leave her and steal with everything. Sasa utakuja kuuliza nani? The house help was entertaining your in-laws.
But you didn't show them your in-laws.
So let her know. These are the common people here. If you have relatives coming there who are maybe they are youth who are in school and you're hosting them, let them be known. If there are people who are coming from the village, call this girl and tell her, so and so will come. And please call me if they come. Don't let strangers just come and start introducing themselves to your house help. Because that is where the problem comes in. Then let this house manager know the neighbors.
Okay.
Of course, you have that reliable neighbor. When something happens at your home, they will call you. Let her know that neighbor. Let the neighbor know there's a stranger in your, there's a new girl or new house manager in your home who is taking care of your children. And in most cases, we tell people, let there be a phone in the house. Because you'll also need to communicate. How do you communicate with a house manager who does not have a phone? In case there's any problem in your house, how will you solve it? How do you tell neighbors, please help? When there's no phone, buy, even if it's a mulika mwizi. Put some credit, because the house manager might tell you, I didn't call you because I didn't have credit. Put some credit there, or learn to call and ask, is everything okay? Most people don't call. They'll leave in the morning and come back in the evening.
They go with this. They rise up with the sun and then come back with the
Yes.
sun. Okay.
Once they're at work, they completely forget that they have a home. So when you're coming back, that is when you realize, I have a home. I'm coming back. So let the house manager know the neighbors. So that, and let her know that in case of anything, if you don't get me through the phone, call so and so. In that case, you will be safe. But if you bring somebody, you don't know where they come from, you don't know their ID card, you don't have any history of that person. Because you were desperate, you wanted a house manager.
Yeah.
Of course, munakosana na boss. Because you are coming late because you don't have a house help.
Yeah.
You know you are sorting one problem, but you are creating
Another.
many problems.
Yeah.
Because if somebody disappears with your children,
What will you do?
what will you do? Still, if you are staying in a flat, it's always good to tell this house help. Learn to close the door. Because most of them, ameweka volume yote kwa TV yako hapo, watching a full cinema, but the house is open, somebody will enter, go to the kitchen or the bedroom, she cannot hear. So learn to always train those people at home to always keep the door locked. Let somebody knock. Don't let somebody knock and get you in the house. Because the door is not locked.
Yeah.
That is one part of security. If you can afford a bell, put a bell there.
Better.
Yes. And let somebody identify themselves before they are coming. Still the issue of sending people to, somebody has, you're like, I was sent to come and pick a gas cylinder. So that is how people still nowadays.
Yeah.
I was sent to pick ni mtu ya boda. Somebody has come with a boda. Anasema, mimi ni mtu ya boda. I've been sent to come and pick the gas cylinder for refilling.
And yet the gas cylinder even is...
You know, maybe you have to.
Oh, okay.
One ilisha, but... And in most cases, these are usually inside jobs.
Yes,
Somebody who
yes.
knows that you have two gas cylinders, na uko na msichana mugeni, that is when they strike.
They come and say that they are coming to...
Yes, I've been sent by so and so. Unamwambia mutungi ndio hii.
I've seen that. Yeah, gas cylinder and also watu watakataka.
Yes.
The garbage papers.
Yes. So somebody will come. The house manager is new. There are two cylinders there. One is empty, the other one has gas. So, anasema, oh, yeah, there's one empty here. Take. By evening, you are like, where is one gas cylinder? You sent somebody to come and pick. Anasema, no, I didn't send anybody. But how do you explain to this girl? You did not tell her anything. So just let her know that if you have not said anything to be picked from that house, let nobody pick anything. If it is somebody who is coming to bring that paper for the rubbish, let them keep it there outside. At your own convenience, you'll open the door and pick it.
Yeah.
Actually, they are not supposed to come and knock at your door. They're supposed to keep there. Even in the estate, they put it at the gate there. Or they insert it and you pick it down there. Nobody will come ringing the bell telling you, of course, that is not an emergency.
Yeah.
It is not. So let these house managers know that you don't have to entertain people you do not know.
Yeah.
Let your boss or let the owner of the house tell you who is coming.
Okay.
We have the technology where we have mobile phones.
Yes.
If I'm getting a visitor in my house, let the person call me. Why would you just come unannounced and you start knocking at the gate? And yet this is the era of mobile phones.
Yeah, you would have called.
Yeah, that is how people are robbed nowadays.
When you were talking, I saw something else about the locking systems. Many people fall victim of this. Usiku, umeenda kulala, umefunga mlango, but you've left the key on the door. Walk us through what can happen.
Yes. We have the issue of, we call it burglary.
Yes.
Or robbery. I think that is robbery without violence. Because nobody is struggling with you.
Yeah.
You're the one who left the... Yes, the door is locked, but you left the key there. When you leave the key there, you know there are so many risks.
Yeah.
Somebody will come, maybe even the widow. There are people who don't even lock windows.
Yes.
You draw the curtains, or you close the curtains.
But you've forgotten the window.
You've forgotten the window. And especially those who have sliding windows. You know that window you can just fit in.
Yeah.
You'll just crawl inside. You remove the key. You come and open for yourself. You let yourself in. Some people even sit and cook and eat.
And people are sleeping. Then you close it.
And people are sleeping. After you eat and you are full, and then if you need to wake people up, you wake them up. Of course, that time you are armed.
Yes.
And you will tell them, you know, they are sleeping. You'll tell them, you'll just tell them, continue sleeping and start snoring. I don't want to hear any
sound,
movement.
yeah.
And you'll just still then go. But the mistake is for the person who is inside the house. Because when when you lock your doors, don't leave the key on the door. Make sure you keep it at a safe place where somebody cannot access. Even if somebody opens the window, they cannot access the key. They remove with the magnet.
Yeah.
Somebody will just put a long rod and a magnet at the head and remove the key from where you've kept it, even from the door there. But when you learn to train the people in the house to keep the key, even if you go with it to the bedroom. When somebody gets in, even if it's through the window.
Yeah, you've made yourself a harder target.
Yes. Yeah. The next thing, when the key is there, they'll just open with it and disappear. But once you hide the key, even getting through the window again becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Getting in is easy, but
yeah.
Getting out is difficult. Because sometimes there's noise, kuna duru, alarm, and all that. So they become confused. You confuse your enemy.
Yes.
Learn to confuse your enemy.
Yeah.
And learn not to be predictable. Even these keys, you go with them walking around. All your keys, you have them in a bunch, plus the car key, and you just leave them, keep them on the table. Somebody will just come with soap and stick the key there. And they go with your
master key.
Yes, they'll just go and make a key like that one. The next time you hear somebody has opened your house, you wonder, I've not given anybody my spare key.
Yeah.
You don't have to give somebody your spare key. But there's somewhere you were careless with your keys. And somebody got hold of it and made a key like that one. And that is why they're accessing your house.
I remember I talked about, when people are moving into their homes, like you're shifting into a new house, the importance of changing the lock system. Because you didn't know who was living there. And at the same time, you don't know what kind of mechanism had been put in place. So it's your duty as a homeowner, in my opinion, to go that extra step and change the locks. Even the windows, yeah? Because at the end of the day, there are things that happen that we do not really much control. But what you can control, do it. That is very critical. Home security, we've talked about induction, which really gives us a perfect segue to have our parting shot segment, where you can just give us some pointers for how to make your home safer as a parent and, or as a homeowner or a home dweller. Just give us some parting shots before we wind up the show.
Okay, before we get to the parting shot,
Yeah.
I think there's something very important that I need to mention. Most people fall prey in their homes. People will come and thugs will come to your home. They'll kill you and dispose the body in your compound, and it will never be found.
Really?
The septics, the septics that we make in our homes, you'll find that somebody will be killed and disposed there, and you'll never know. Why? Because the way we make them, just leave the top very open, such that somebody can just come and throw something inside and cover the top, and you'll never know. Why should we do that? I always tell people, when you're constructing your septics, it is always good to put a mesh before you can cover. Because in that case, even if somebody wants to drop something,
they have to cut through.
They have to cut through for them to put that thing there. But when it is just open, somebody will just come and move the cover. Somebody can even be killed elsewhere and be dumped there.
Yeah.
Still, most of these open areas, your children can be playing around. And they decide to peep and see what is inside there. And then what happens?
They can fall in.
So even we are threatening the security of those within our compounds. Even there are people who have the water boreholes in their compounds. How safe are those places? Because in most cases, people are just there fetching water.
Yeah.
Most of them are not covered. Make a point of covering, even using a padlock to lock that thing. Because if you have children allowed, they are very eager to know many things.
They're
They'll be learning allowed. They want to know what is inside there. So they'll just go and peep, start pushing each other. The next thing, they all drown inside.
Yeah.
So I think as people or as parents, we need to know how we can secure our homes.
So basically, you find that, Mary, there's a lot of gaps in our homes that pretty much we have the solutions, but we just choose to ignore.
Yes.
You know, like even when you're constructing your homestead, I talked to you earlier about incorporating security into the whole construction program, because it's a very critical value. How many people do security risk analysis and incorporate the security measures in the building phase? Utapata tu watu wataita tu your constructor, foreman, all those things. At the end of the day, they forget a vital role in security. It can save lives when you put this, like the septics, in a place that is visible, a place that, look at septics in our homes. Zimejificha, ziko mali imejificha. And yet, you can save a lot of lives by putting it in a place where it is easily visible, but at the same time secure, as you put it. So we are doing all this to make sure that, we make our homes safer by just getting to know. Yeah, ignorance is not an excuse.
Yeah.
So it's upon you to get that kind of information and also act upon it. It's one thing knowing, it's another thing acting upon it.
Yes.
I think it's a perfect segue. We can talk and talk and talk, and Mary, you'll have to come back because this topic ni refu.
Definitely I will.
Ni refu.
Yes.
People are wondering how they can keep themselves safe at home, and it's a menace. You curb this, the next day another thing comes. We've seen house helps who go with the children. We've seen house help who call off for ransom. House helps, beating children at home, stealing, you name it. We'll deep dive into it. Keep on, educating the masses on the importance of charity beginning at home with respect to children. These are topics that, we've just gotten on the icing. It's just an icing of the cake. But at the end of the day, you'll come again and again just to deep dive. So in your parting shot, probably you can tell the masses, and especially the ladies, because we want ladies also to embrace security, and they need to know that there are security professionals out here. Encourage them on how good knowing security and being professional in security can make their lives better.
Okay, thank you. To the ladies who are following us, who are watching, who are listening, maybe I can tell them security is very interesting. It's one thing that you will learn so many things that you never thought that they existed. You also get to interact with people with different skills. You learn the hard way, let me put it that way, but that hard way gives you an upper hand in everything, because security is paramount in everybody's life. Wherever you go, when you are in security, you don't need to worry so much, because there are so many skills that you have inbuilt. And you can also defend other people. You can defend yourself. You can defend the community. And I always tell ladies, do not fear to join the security sector, because as ladies, we have that instinct of protection. You've seen how a mother chicken or a mother hen protect the chicks. That's exactly what women have. That instinct of always wanting to protect.
Yeah.
That is the drive that makes us ladies in security. Want to always protect, want to keep our children safe, want to keep the society safe. Because when we have a safe society, even our children tend to grow in an environment that is safe. And it is a good thing for everybody. Because when there's no security, most people who are affected by insecurity are the children and the women. Men go to war when there's war and insecurity, but who are left behind? The children and the women. And as women, we need to team up. We need to support the security sector. We also need to join. When there are recruitment, do not shy off from joining the security forces, because it is a good thing. One thing, it is employment. It will give you some source of income. It will also give you an upper hand in most things. At the same time, we like sensitizing women and telling them that security begins with you and me. And we have to support the security sector in all ways. Because without security, most of the businesses will not thrive. Most economies fall because of lack of security. So with those few remarks, I say, for women, please join security. Let us team up. In our small ways, we can bring a big impact. Thank you very much.
Wow. What a way to end the show. Like I always put it, passion and purpose. That is what we've seen today. passion and purpose. So let us be passion and purpose driven in whatever we do. We encourage more women in this sector. We encourage more women to participate in security settings and conversations. It is your role to ensure that you are safe. So get as much information as you can. And one of the platforms that you can get is Crimeshield Podcast. So at the end of the day, the only way you can help us is through subscribing, liking, and share. So until next time, keep it Crimeshield. See you next time.